Hey, what's up my fellow music lovers? This is Jean. Now do I have something special for you. Do you write sick guitar riffs, but when it comes down to drums, it still kinda sucks? Have you ever wondered how to program powerful drums for your guitar tracks, even if you've never even touched a drum kit before? If you're still writing drums with Guitar Pro or even copying existing MIDI files and changing notes around until it fits to your riff, then you really need to watch this video. I will show you how you can create a sick drum track for your songs in the most efficient and musical way. So there are a couple of things that you're gonna need for this. You will need some sort of MIDI input device. I have an AK MPK49 here, but it's too big, clunky and old, and for this particular use, a little bit of an overkill. This huge thing just takes up too much space. You don't need to spend so much money on a MIDI keyboard, so let me show you some budget-friendly options. I'm just gonna visit my friends at the Klangfarbe quickly. Alright, so this is what I got. Here we have the Arturia Minilab 3 Alpine White for 99 euros and the Novation FL Key Mini for around 110 euros. 2 octaves, so 25 keys is all we need for this. That's more than enough. If this is not in your budget right now, then just use the keys of your keyboard for that. Not the best option, but it's a start. And it's still faster than clicking around with your mouse. Before we start writing the drums, we need some riffs first though. So let me just write some quickly so we have something to work with. Yeah, that's it. Alright, so I have 3 riffs and I think that we can work with them. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna record them and then we're gonna start with programming our drums. Alright, now we need to set those 2 bad boys up with my DAW. In my case, it's Cubase, because I'm a Cubase kind of boy, but of course this process is pretty much the same with every DAW. If we want to use some MIDI drums, of course we're going to need some drum libraries as well. This just gives us the signal, but we need something where the sound comes from. Now we have different vendors starting from Get Good Drums to Addictive Drums, Easy Drums and so on. Most of them work on Kontakt, but some of them are standalone versions. So you definitely should check out if you need Kontakt for some libraries before you buy them. Now I'm a sucker for Get Good Drums. In this case I'm using the Modern and Massive library. I just like them the most, but keep in mind for them you need the Kontakt player. But if you don't want to spend money on this part yet, I got you. I recommend that you check out Spitfire Labs. Spitfire Labs normally makes virtual instruments that are quite heavy on your purse, but in this case they made 60 instruments that are completely free that you can use for your music. And one of those virtual instruments is a really nice sounding drum set. They even have vintage drums as well if you're looking for something like that. Alright, we're all set up, but before we start I have to show you one more thing. It's these guys. Now I know this may sound weird right now, but hear me out, because this right here is the most important part of the video. I want you to start this little habit that I'm gonna show you, which will make programming drums so much easier. First, I want you to learn to play with your body.
Yeah, baby!
Not like that. I want you to take your dominant hand and place it on the chest. This is gonna be your kick. Then take your other hand, in my case my left hand, and place it on the stomach. That's gonna be your snare. I want you to practice any sorts of grooves, just the kick and the snare like this, okay? So let's start with something easy. Eventually you're gonna get the feel for it and you're gonna be able to make much more complicated grooves like. I want you to practice this habit with any sorts of groove that you're listening to. So if you're listening to music, then try to play the groove like this. Developing this habit will make it so much easier to play grooves on your MIDI keyboard. Let me show you. All right, so we have some riffs prepared. For the first one, I'm going to use the FL key mini. I want you to take your right hand and put it on the key that is assigned for your kick. And then take the left hand and put it on the key that is assigned for your snare. And this is the way we're going to play our drums for this, okay? All right, let's just jump into the first riff. What I'm going to do now is the thing that we practiced beforehand. Instead of playing on my chest or my stomach, I'm going to do it like this, okay? So let's see what we're gonna come up with. I think that's enough. Okay, so we're just gonna quantize that. We're gonna go on 16th, because this is a 16th groove, and now we're gonna quantize it. Let's listen to it. Okay, next up, let's record some cymbals over it, okay? Let's see what we have here. We have some crash and a china. Here we have the hi-hat, so I think I'm gonna start it with the hi-hat. Let's just give it a try, okay? All right, let's just quantize everything that I just played and listen to it again. Yeah, this works for me. I can still go right into the MIDI track and let's say, okay, change a couple of things around after I made the initial groove with my hand, the groove that you felt when you wrote the riff, right? So this is why it's a bad idea to just take any sorts of drums that you didn't write and just put them over it. So let's go to the next little riff. It's gonna be a little bit harder. So let's see what we can come up with this one, okay? Let's at first listen to it. Okay, let's switch it up. Now we're gonna try the Arturia. Yeah, and I can immediately say the feel is so much better. Like, I really feel like I can dig in. Let's see if this will translate into something good. Yeah, that was okay, that was okay. All right, that's okay. So now, next part, let's start with the cymbals. That was okay. Yeah, that sounds great. Cool. And do you see how easy and fast this was? I really encourage you to train this little habit on playing on your body. I do that basically everywhere and it annoys people around me, but it makes me better at playing drums. Okay, we have one riff left. And for this, I want to show you a kind of different approach that you can use if you have something where you have a hard time of figuring out what kind of groove you want to start with that and so on. Yeah, let's keep this one. So what we're gonna do now is, if you have troubles playing the kick and snare at the same time, you can just start with a recurring element. For example, the snare. Most of the time, a snare is always at the same place in a specific groove. Let's just listen to this riff. Okay, let's just start with the snare and then see what comes up with it. Now this is a triplet feel. So before we quantize anything, we have to be sure that we're also selecting triplets right there, or we're gonna have a problem. All right, now we can think about the kick, right? So since I have my snare on the exact same place, I can basically just like try around with different emphasis. All right, this sounds nice. Let's see, we quantized it and now. All right, now we're just gonna add cymbals. I think something that's really, really heavy and slow will fit really nicely over this. So let's give it a try. For the next part, we're going to do something else. We're still going to take a recurring element, but this time it's going to be a cymbal. Again, we're going to quantize it. For now, the only thing we have is our cymbals. And now we're gonna add the kick and snare to it. Yeah, something like this, that's gonna be better. If you have something like this, you can of course just take the triplets and just do it like this. Yeah, that's great. The full riff now sounds like this. All right, and sometimes I just want to change things up, like right here, I want to add something else. So what I'm going to do right now is, instead of going inside of the MIDI track and clicking around with my mouse for stuff that I want to hear, again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to delete a part of it and then I'm going to play over it with my keyboard. This is so much faster than any other way to do this, except of like really playing it with drums, of course, but yeah, I can't do that. So let's try it again. And that's it. So quantize. This really shows you the process that I use to write drums. Of course, there are going to be parts that we can't play with our fingers, or at least I can't, like fills or super fast double bass or blast beat parts. You can of course add them later on, and you of course are allowed to use your mouse and click around and do things. But if you have the chance of doing something much more efficient and in a musical way, so that you at first feel and hear it and play that, instead of like putting notes somewhere and then hitting play and listening if this is something that you want to hear, right? If you're the one writing your riffs, you already have the feel for it. So try to emulate this with your hands, okay? The most important part about all this is that the initial groove comes out of your hands, okay? This is gonna also make you a better guitarist because you're gonna have a better feel for rhythm. All right, so that's it. I hope this will help you with writing better drum parts for your songs, or at least speed up the process. If you have any questions, then write them in the comments below, and also don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.